So these NFP numbers came in, and I think they took everybody by a little bit of surprise here because these markets have absolutely pumped. And I'm talking the S&P as well as these crypto markets. So things are looking super hot out of there. We got altcoins breaking trends all over the place. So we got so much to cover today. One of them is a token that I think is really going to start running into the next 7 days. Then I'm going to cover things like Rune. I've got Link for you. I've got a couple of gaming tokens. We're looking at 𝗟𝗚𝗡. I've got a whole batch just for you guys. And are we going to have a green weekend? Well, if we are, I'm going to give you all the areas that you can look at. I'm going to give you all your TP zones. So you're going to be taken care of here. Let's get right into this. Another nice green day on Banter Bubbles. Always nice to like end a Friday or start a Friday with these type of conditions. Always fun going into the weekend like this. And we can see a nice all-round performance from everything. Ton has made a nice comeback here for us. HBAR, you know, after all their drama with the fake BlackRock situation, that's moving again. Near's back in the game. So things are looking all around quite nice and juicy. We've had a nice push now from Coinbase. We've had a nice bump on the S&P from Apple, and just, you know, the sentiment seems to be changing a little bit here. So things are looking good from this point of view. Let's look at BTC quickly and just see what we are dealing with right now, because things are definitely getting a little bit spicy. So this is where we were yesterday, and we were pushing into a major resistance band. This was our big zone. This 60K was a massive area. Why was it so big? Well, it was the range low for the last couple of months where we've been getting massive buys. And once we lost that, it became major resistance for us, and that is the bull line. That was essentially where all the bulls were looking. They wanted to see this line break, and I can tell you the bears were queuing up. I was taking profits earlier today on some of these altcoins as well that were pushing into resistance zones. So quite amazing how some data out of the States that came in so soft. I don't think anybody expected it, this NFP stuff, and they've really just popped it out. Now, what does this mean for us now? What is actually going down? Well, Bitcoin is blown through. That tells me now this could be major support for us on any pullbacks or any retest to the zone. So we have now got a new support marker that we can play with, and that is anything down to the 60K region. We are watching this area closely now. If we get a pullback down to that region, let's just pull some fibs and just look for some tie in here for you guys as well. Here's our 382. So what are we looking for here? If we get a pullback, and let's say it's quite a heavy pullback. If there's a heavy pullback here, this 382 is going to come into play. So your marker that you are watching this weekend is 60K, maybe just a dip down just below 60K. If that holds, then I think you guys are going to be cooking. I think the market is really going to be firing. So that's the big one you watch. Then you can see a nice little rising trend that we got in play here as well. That can be a nice fun line for us. We pay attention to this line. If we do drift lower, what happens? We're looking for a nice bounce here and then a bigger move up if we get a pullback now. And watch this trend. You know the drill. If we lose this trend, then we are heading lower. So big levels you want to watch right now. Upside is where we are right now. This is a rejection zone. This is a TP zone. And I actually need your help. I'm in a Bitcoin long at the moment. Am I TPing here? Let me know in the chats what you guys think. Ray, am I TPing? This is my current situation. This trade that I've been sitting in now for the last couple of days, I was sitting around it with JP as well, giving us a round trip. Am I taking profits here, Ray? What are we doing here?
I would close half and stop loss and profit.
That's a wise man. That's a very wise man. Okay, let me know in the chats what you guys think I need to do with this current trade. So I'm 1.5 Bitcoin long. It was a sweat out. The last 3-4 days, we've been sweating out this position. Do we reward ourselves now? Do we take profit at resistance, or do we let this thing ride? Let me know how you guys are feeling there in the chats. And I'm going to take instruction from you guys. We're going to play it accordingly. Okay, so this is what we're watching now closely. Rejection zone here for BTC. This is 61,500, where we are right now. If we do push higher, what is that going to tell us? It's taking us to the major downtrend that we have, that 2-day downtrend that I've been showing you for the last couple of days. That's our next major resistance zone. That is also a big TP zone. And I want to show you guys something interesting that I spoke about earlier this week. And I think it's very applicable now that we've got to move out of the market. So earlier this week, I was talking about these RSIs at the bottom on the 4-hour, on the 8-hour that were heavily oversold. And I said to you, the last few times or the last few occasions, we've had these RSIs at the levels that they were at. We got approximately 11 to 12% moves on Bitcoin before we had our next pullback or our next dump after that move. So just a reminder, this is where we were on the 20th of March. We had the RSIs at the low. What did we get? 12%. On the 1st of April, what did we get? 12%. On the 15th of April, we got another 12%, and here we are. This is where we are. Where we were on Tuesday. We were at the lows, and we were saying we're looking for a potential 12% move. Let's just see what have we got here so far. So 12% takes us exactly, well, it's actually a little bit above. So that's going to take us exactly to that trend line, that descending trend line. That is a resistance zone. If we look at what history tells us. Now, we played the game. We said history tells us we're going to get a bounce here. Now we're saying history tells us the last few times we got a bounce, it was a 12% move. Are we going to get more than a 12% move? So what I want to say to you guys is be cautious now in these areas. We've had our 12% move. It ties in with history here over the last few sessions, the last few times this has happened. And look out here. Make sure you are taking profits. Make sure you are de-risking at these big areas. If history, sometimes, what do we say? History rhymes. It doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And if it's going to play out similarly, this is something that you want to be watching very closely. Now, guys, before Uncle Ray jumps in and shouts at you, I'm going to give you an opportunity. If you're enjoying the content and you like the content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell. And make sure you get these notifications to the show. Ray, how was that? You happy?
And subscribe. Let's subscribe. Subscribe, smash the like. Tell your friends. Tell your mama. Tell your papa.
Okay, let's get into what is going on. So what's happening around in the news world? So the most important number that you guys need to know, let me share my screen quickly. The most important thing you need to know, US labor and non-farm payrolls, they came in at plus 175 and they were looking at 240K. So it came in a bit lighter. What does that mean? It means the job market is cooling off. And why does the market like it? Because the market says if the jobs are cooling off, that means there's less potential inflation, and the market really likes that. The government really likes it. So it's a bit counter-intuitive. But when this came in this low, these markets started absolutely firing. So that is what you need to know about the juice and the NFPs. And now what has happened is traders are pulling forward their first bet on when the Fed is going to cut rates. Now they've moved it. Now they're pricing in, saying that the Fed is now potentially going to cut rates in September and not November. So this current gap up in the S&P, which I'm going to show you shortly, has to do with these traders now trying to price this in. And then we have a little bit more bullish source here. We got the M2 money supply, which has finally flipped positive. So you can see that this thing has been negative since before 2023. We flipped negative. Yes. Yes,
it's a big deal. Big deal.
And finally, look at this. They've given us, in this little picture, they've given us a little Bitcoin rocket here. We've just got our first little print here showing us that this is about to flip positive and things are potentially looking a little bit healthier. Some of the macro situation has changed now. The Fed has changed their stance on the QT, and things are looking potentially a little bit easier now for the next, well, let's say for the next short term. Now, another big news or another big bit of news, and also why the S&P is potentially gapping up so high at the moment, is that Apple have said they are going to do $110 billion buyback. Okay, that's super bullish. They're buying their own shares back. And with a company the size of Apple announcing something like that, they're obviously going to pump. And with that, because of their size, that S&P is going to pump up with them. So that is incredibly bullish news coming from Apple there, and really just launching that price up. So here's the Apple chart. We looked at this one yesterday briefly, and we looked at some interesting zones. And Apple was flirting around this one. I think we were floating somewhere around this 170 level and looking for something potentially bullish here. But I don't think anybody was expecting a move like that. But if you are trading Apple, well, you're absolutely killing it now. And this $110 billion buyback is so massive that for me, you know, it's got to send this thing a little bit further north. So pay close attention here. If you are sitting in Apple and you've been long for a while, well, the interesting point to note here is that we are just trying to push the 200-day moving average right now on Apple. So this can be viewed as a potential support zone as well of interest for you guys. So watch for Apple support-wise. Anything from 181 down to round about 176 could offer you a little bit of support now for the next big push and the next move higher. So look out if they do give you a pullback. Just look for something along those lines for Apple. Could be very interesting here. And I see King Dingaling is going to sell the hamster. Guys, are we at that time? Are we selling hamsters? Is this our moment? Well, we're going to check. We're going to check very shortly. And this was huge. The S&P has now gapped up. Okay, so this is the S&P 500. And I mean, Apple's obviously got a massive weight in the S&P, but look at this. So good news is we've gapped up, so things are looking bullish this weekend. Bad news is we know that they like to come and close these gaps on occasion. So if we do get some downside, remember, just make a note that they might want to come and close this gap at some point on the S&P. But right now, that's a great start. We'll take it, a bit of bull source. This market's been in a downward trend for the last few weeks, and finally something bullish happening here for the S&P. So maybe a little bit of upside coming. Okay, and then the Coinbase. So there were a lot of estimates yesterday as to how they were going to smash their results. One of the prints that we were looking at, they were talking about a $1.9 billion estimate. They didn't quite do it, but they did smash their earnings. And that has also played out very nicely in the crypto world. And we've seen that in two of those trades that I brought to you guys yesterday. One of them was Optimism. They only did about a 9% move. So that was a little bit disappointing. But this DGen token that is also on base, I'm going to take you through that now, is absolutely ripping. So hopefully some of you guys got a piece of that DGen play that I spoke to you about yesterday. And just some interesting stats before we jump into more things here. This is just it's very applicable here. They say there's an indication here that retail hasn't come back yet. And how are they showing that? Well, number one, they're looking at the retail stats from Q4 2021. It was $177 billion. Q1 now 2024, we had 56 billion. Okay, for the retail. The institutional investors, look at these stats. Q1 is $256 billion. So they are 69% of their all-time high, and retail is only at 31% of their all-time high. So that is very interesting. There is potentially a lot more upside, and you might have noticed this in how sad these altcoins have been, because the institutions have been buying things like Bitcoin and maybe some ETH and that, but you know, a lot of these alts have been very sad over the last while, and now it is showing in the stats when the stats are coming out here, giving us this information. Okay, Coinbase, last touch on Coinbase. So bullish results. They had a nice push, and looks like they are going to try and hold their weekly support. So if you are long Coinbase, nothing to do here, nothing to worry about. Support that I would say you need to pay attention to, 210, and pay attention to 198. Okay, stock traders, done. Right, crypto. Are we scared? Are we fearful yet? 48, Ray. Are we feared? Are we fearful?
We're in that neutral ranging zone. We're ranging.
Neutral, eh? Neutral. So yeah, I mean, we got to a point where we were almost fearful. I would have said if we lost that 56K, I would have said this fear and greed index was going to push down to around about 30. I would say that is where the ultimate fear was going to be. So very surprising that they sent it early, but in crypto, is that actually surprising? How often do they surprise us with moves like this and these type of pumps? They often front run these areas. So keep note of the fear and greed. It's nice we've had a reset, but this is still actually just neutral country and neutral territory. And then another thing that was interesting today, and this is something to pay attention to if you're new to trading and things like that, look out for options expiry figures. That it happens so often that they try and move the price on the Friday when it's happening to roughly the options expiry price. That puts max pain out there for the traders. So just notable here, BTC max pain 61K. Where's BTC right now? 61,500. Okay, and then we've got ETH max pain at 3K. Where's ETH trading right now? Let's just look at it. 3,075. So no coincidence here that they try and push it and reach one of these levels. So watch that. Always keep an eye on that on that for you guys. And then our the liquidation heat map, or the liquidation map that we are looking at the moment. Also, this is the 7-day chart, and you can see now they've cleaned out a lot down below. People are going long again, and we are now at a nice balanced position. So right now we can actually go anywhere according to this liquidation heat map. There's equally weighted there's equally weighted longs and shorts here, and liquidation levels on both sides. So things are looking more balanced at the moment, and you know, it's starting to show after a pump like that. Now the shorts have been minced, and now what's going on? People are loading loading up the shorts, but now we've got a green candle. The bulls are loading up the longs, and things are starting to find a little bit of balance again in these things. Okay, so let's keep watching BTC, and let's see in the chats how am I closing this? Am I closing this trade here, guys? Let's see the comments here. Just let me know what you guys are thinking. Okay, I've just lost them. Let's carry on. Okay, guys, let me know. I'm watching the chats. Keep the comments coming in. I'm going to take a look now and see what you guys are saying. I've just got a slight problem here. It's loading a little bit. It's loading a little bit slowly. Okay, another important thing to look at, our 2-day plan. This thing actually hasn't changed. So can I turn super bullish and really start jumping around, dancing around the room? No, we can't do that just yet. We have broken a very important level. That I agree with. Number one, we've smashed 60K. That was huge for us. But right now, we are still in this clear downtrend, and pay close attention. This trend is big resistance for us. This is a weekly trend as well, and it's got 1-2 touches here already, 3 touches, and now 62,500 looks like an area of interest here. If we push into this trend, make sure you are taking profit. This is still the plan. Until we start breaking trends, we're going to change the plan if we break the trend, but right now the original plan is still in play, and potential rejection on the cards there at that trend. So just keep note of that thing. Okay, and then this is always a good sign. When you get a nice Bitcoin pump, you see dominance ripping up. That's great. When Bitcoin prints a big candle, dominance pushing up is totally fine. The alts tend to join it. They follow a little bit, but they don't outperform. But when do alts start outperforming? When we get a dominance rejection. And look at this. Look how perfect these levels are playing out for us at the moment on dominance. We've pumped into a massive resistance area on dominance, and now you're going to see some of these alts are starting to unleash a little bit, and this dominance is coming down nice and slowly for you guys, while Bitcoin just sits around, hangs around. And that's what we want to see. Once Bitcoin turns bullish and you get a dominance rejection, that is when these altcoins really start firing. So watch this dominance very closely now after that little bullish push. Okay, ETH traders, what are we looking at? Let's just cover where we are here with ETH. We've now broken through our resistance zone number one. So we saw Bitcoin blow through resistance. Now we've had ETH blow through major resistance. So this is a great start for us with the current situation. And what does this mean? This means if you're long ETH, you now have a new support marker. You now have a new base that you can work with. So if you are taking risk and you are long on leverage and these type of things, ETH, what you can do is you can look for your support now, 3,020. So this is a great area here that we're going to look to hold. If we are bullish, we should hold this horizontal. So ETH traders, 3,020, watch this level here. If you are long, look at that area closely. And then I'm going to give you one more. If we lose this current candle, 2967, then I would say ETH is turning bearish again and we are going lower. But until we lose this 2967, we've got to say ETH is now bullish. Is it in the short term? Sure, it could be a couple of days, it could be this weekend, but let's see how ETH is going to go. But right now looking super bullish here, and you can see that in the current dominance rejection as well, really starting to get some legs. But what do you need to look out for? Watch out here for ETH. There's another resistance zone incoming, and if you are trading and scalping and using high leverage, 3,150 is where you need to be. Look out here, look for a reaction here. Okay, maybe this is the area you're going to raise your stop. Maybe this is the area you're going to take some profits and those type of things, because it's a marked resistance zone. It's an area where ETH could react, could get some kind of rejection there. So watch your support levels. Those are locked in. I think it's a nice, juicy, healthy support zone that you can work with. And then resistance areas, watch this 3,150. And then you can see we got a nice, juicy band up here. Anything from 3,300 to 3,400 is now a potential target for this move for ETH, and perfectly acceptable if it's going to play this range for ETH to make its way up to this target and then potentially send it a little bit lower. So nice little structure here, nice clean little chart here on ETH. Oh, Danny from Maryland, guys, I apologize. I owe you guys. I owe you this to you. Sorry. Getting ahead of ourselves here. We're getting ahead of ourselves, right?
We're getting way too ahead of ourselves. We need to smash the likes. 400 likes and 2,000 people here. Let's go.
You know what to do. You know what to do. You know what to do. Otherwise, you get the cat. Okay, let's go. Let's look at update on DGen. So DGen was great. This was one of the plays. Why did we like DGen? It's the layer 3 on base. So we had Optimism, which was the layer 2 on base. And well, base is a layer 2 built on Optimism. And then we had the layer 3 DGen. And they were obviously making tons of money with all the meme coins they were selling. And I think the market didn't realize And yesterday I brought this to you guys saying, this thing's just been selling off, and they're not understanding what is going on here. And Coinbase has obviously now announced that they're making a little bit of money here, and things are happening on this degen chain. So now we've had a massive move. So hopefully some of you guys took advantage of this degen, and so far we've had about a 47% move off these absolute lows here for degen. So well done if you did grab a piece of that. And now what are we looking at? Well, if the market really likes this degen and they've woken up to it now thinking that this thing is going to start making money, well, there could be proper legs on this degen. But what do you need to look out for? Number one, you need to watch your trend and horizontal. This is now in your way. Okay, so watch out. 0.025. Look out for this region. What do we want to see? If we are bulls, we want to see a clean break of this region. Once we see that clean break, we're going to look for that situation that we've just seen on ETH. I'm going to show you again just to remind you. But we want to blow this trend, and we want to blow this horizontal, and we want to hold that retest. If we hold that retest, then this thing is opening up for some big targets and some big levels that we can be watching. So let's just highlight the next potential zone is going to be probably around that high. So you're looking at a top side here of about 0.0377. That could potentially come into play here for you. And what is that going to look like? Number one, remember, you want to blow this trend first, okay? So this trade setup is really, once you've blown that trend and you've got a little test of some support here, you're going to look for something along these lines, and you're going to look for an upside, another upside of potentially, say, 50% here on degen. But step one, you've got to blow this trend. Step one, you've got to blow through horizontals. So remember, if you are sitting in this degen play, we're moving into resistance, we're moving into a TP zone. So take your profits, wait for it to pop this thing. If we get support, we send this thing one more time, and you're looking at around about a target of 0.038. So make sure it breaks first, then get your support, then you can look for longs. Okay, now I've got a token that I think is going to be very interesting in the next few days. I spoke about it briefly yesterday as well, and obviously it's an AI play because we've got Apple, we've had these Apple announcements, we have all sorts of things going on with Apple at the moment, and I mean, I just like I like this video. I'm actually going to give you guys this video. Apple CEO Tim Cook expected to hint new AI features next week. Okay, but you got to actually see this video. It's hilarious. Wait, Ray, watch this. Let me just get this thing going here. One second. I'm trying to find it.
Smash the like in the meantime for the video. Let's go.
I got it. Okay, here we go. Okay, how's this video? This is like classic Apple. What is? Can you hear this, right? Apple teleport. The Apple chair, I need that. This is my bed. Apple scooter, I don't know. Can I use that? That's what I need. I need the Apple time machine. So any of those will be good, but I mean, the Apple orange looks quite appealing to me. It looks like something fun. Okay, so what am I talking about? Apple. If we're talking Apple and things like that, we know Apple and Render are very close to one another. They are very linked. Okay, from an AI perspective and things like that. So we need to pay attention. Reminder, yesterday I said to you, I showed you this tweet here from Johnny. He says Q3, Q4, Apple's going to be making a huge AI push. We also know next week they got a couple of announcements coming up. And here we go. So Apple CEO Tim Cook's expected to hint at new AI features next week. Okay, what happens if we're leading into next week and we expect, or the market expects, something about to happen on AI? And the last few times Apple have spoken about AI, Render has pumped on at least 2 occasions. So is there a chance that Render is going to pump? Yes, I raised this one yesterday with you guys, and I think it's too good to miss out on. So interesting perspective, but I mean, the guy's stating the obvious here, goal. He says being long Render into the 7th of May when the announcement will be doesn't seem like such a bad idea, okay? And the man is not wrong. So I've been buying a little bit of spot render over the last couple of days. And yesterday we spoke to you about this, and we gave you a couple of areas that you could look at for potential scalper zones as well. So hopefully some of you guys grabbed some of those entries that I gave you on the lower time frame. We're going to look at that one more time, just on a bigger picture perspective. If we really just zoom out where render is right now, it's actually got a lot of work to do. So this is render on the 12-hour, and pushing into 8.5 is a major reaction zone. It's a major resistance zone. So very interesting time. If you are long render, what I would really suggest here is make sure you at least are snipping something off the table at this 8.5 region, or at the very least raise your stops, okay? Because if we are bullish leading into next week and the market remains bullish, then we know it's guaranteed render is going to fire. Render is going to go up 10, 15, 20, 30% from here. It's going to absolutely fire. But what if the market isn't as bullish as we want it to be next week while this announcement happens? Then we might just get a smaller move out of render. So just need to be very careful with how you're playing this at the moment, because we are still in that Bitcoin downtrend. We need to understand these alts are pushing into resistance areas. So what I'm going to suggest here again, if render pushes into this 8.7 region, 8.5 region, anywhere in this area over here, this is a zone you need to just watch out. You need to be a little bit watchful and just pay attention there. So if you are long, make sure you are taking something off the table there. What does it look like for the bulls? It's so clean here. What we're going to see here, we're going to see a push up here. If there's an aggressive move, look out for the rejection on the 50-day MA. Look out for that pullback, and then that move might give you your next opportunity there for a much bigger render move. But we're going to have to see what the market is doing next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're going to just get a feel for how things are playing out. But watch out. Once we blow that trend, look out at that 50-day MA. That's at 9.4 to 9.5, somewhere at that area. That is going to be your next reaction zone, your next TP zone. Your next big thing is going to happen in that area. And quite often we see these rejections here, and then we can buy those little retests. And especially if this market is now going to stay bullish. And remember, this is a 12-hour trend. So if we blow a 12-hour trend, it's a big deal. And, if we hold it, it's even better source for us. Okay. Here is render on a scalper setup for you guys. Render on the 1 hour. And yesterday we discussed a few of these levels. One of the levels that we were looking at was a little move into some horizontals. Yesterday, the fibs were adjusted. I've had to pull the fibs higher now. I've raised them. I've brought them higher up here. So that's why you can see they have changed slightly at the moment. But interesting level for us at the moment. And you can see what's going on with render. It's in a clear uptrend. Okay, so as long as we're riding this uptrend, we are bullish on render. As long as we're cruising up this trend, everything is in order, everything is fine. Little pullback here, no issues here. As long as render is just climbing this little uptrend, we are good, we are gold. And if render starts losing that trend, maybe the market's turning a little bit bearish. So just pay attention to that one. Right now, what is render trying to hold? It's trying to hold the 8 region. So you can see, if you're a scalper, you can see there's a level in play here right now. They're trying to buy it above these areas, but it's not a high conviction level. It's not a massive area. So my suggestion normally in a situation like this is pay attention to the trend. At some point, they tend to send it back into the trend's direction, and then you should get some kind of opportunity to grab something. If not, what you can do is also play thicker support regions. So look here, I've got a nice thicker support band here for you on render, a little bit lower down. So if they do come fishing a little bit lower here, we can look at somewhere around 7.87, that sort of region for render. But as long as we're holding this trend, it should be bullish, and we should be pushing on. So watch that. And if we do lose the trend, your next bounce zone, your next realistic bounce zone is going to be 7.6 to 7.65, somewhere in that region. You're going to look for some kind of bounce there on render, and then we'll have to reassess what it looks like, because by then you've lost the trend, and then they might want to send this one a little bit lower down. So we need to just watch how things play out this weekend. Just pay attention very closely to dominance. Watch Bitcoin closely as well, and let's see how it plays out this weekend. But here we go. Trend is your friend, exactly. And let's see, what does Greg say? Render has to crack above the 886. Greg's pulling out the 886 here. He's absolute beast mode here. He's going science on the 886 as well. So yeah, there's a lot going on here. And yeah, listen to Greg. It's going to take off. It's going to take off. We're saying it should take off. Let's see how render's going to play out. And what happens when render pumps, okay? We tend to see sympathy pumps from some other AI tokens. So another banger that has been very quiet over the last while is this 𝗏𝗏𝗏. It's 𝗏𝗏𝗏. And I mean, there was so much hype around this a few months ago. We had Vitalik in a meeting with the guys, and there were all sorts of things pumping these 𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗧𝗏 tokens. And right now, it's starting to make a little bit recovery. So it's noticeable to me that we're reclaiming a trend, and very noticeable to me that we have reclaimed this 200-day moving average. Look at this. Look how this is held as support. Now, I just remind you guys one more time. Get the 200-day MA on your charts. Look how it behaves with some of these altcoins. Look at this. It's pure support here for 𝗘𝗦. So I've grabbed a little bit of 𝗘𝗦 down here. The support I'm watching is now the 200-day MA. I'm watching this 380 level here for 𝗘𝗦. That's the 200-day MA. And we've got these daily candles, 1, 2, 3, closing above the 200-day MA. So that is a support band I want to watch. And if render's going to turn bullish, I would expect a little bit more action out of 𝗘𝗦. And things are looking interesting. And then where am I going to play this thing to? Where am I looking to run it to? We're not going to get greedy here. We're just looking for small little moves here. And 𝗘𝗦, we're looking at the 50-day MA and horizontal here, a little bit higher up. Okay, so my target here is going to be this 50-day MA. We're going to look for this region, 530, somewhere in that region. If we get a nice little push into that area, very nice for 𝗘𝗦. And watch your support, 380. If we're going to lose that 380 support, for me, we're most likely pushing lower into this box that we've been watching here for quite some time. So 315 would be the next target if we start losing these lows. But the market's going to turn miserable then. And BTC is going to be rejecting properly if they're going to send us to these levels. Okay, guys, I haven't had answers on this this BTC position of mine. Let me, I've missed a few of the chats, so let me know. And while we're talking trading exchanges and things like that, don't forget WEEX is also running a limited offer. You can see the clock is ticking here. This event ends in 8 days. Okay, what are they doing for you guys? They're giving you a 20% sign-up bonus for joining WEEX. And remember, they are KYC-friendly exchange, and I've been using them and talking to them a lot. There's big changes coming with WEEX. There's big things happening there, and they're also using a token. So as long as you're trading on WEEX, you are essentially farming for your token airdrop that is going to be coming to you guys for using the platform. So pay attention to WEEX, get on it, get trading on it, and start farming your WEEX tokens. You can see what I've got going on here at the moment. This is my fetch trade from yesterday. I have added to it a little bit, so that is now nice and green. That's pushing. Here's this whiff position that we got. That is still moving, and I'm still sitting in that phantom short, which was actually at one point when the market was dumping. This thing was about a $1,100 up. Now it's only flat. So we're going to see, we're going to monitor, and we're going to see how this is going to play out. And just watch this closely. At some point, we're going to get a rejection. So we're going to have to figure out how I'm going to deal with this thing. But right now, no rush to close this short in case we get some kind of rejection from Bitcoin in one of these zones. So just letting it play out at the moment. But that is my current week situation. Look out. They've got a token coming, and big things coming there from WEEX for you guys as well. And let's just check in on my trade here. Okay, so BTC is pushing on again. So we're going to keep monitoring this. If we get another rejection in this region, I'm going to exit this trade. So let's watch this candle here. If we don't start breaking new highs, I'm going to close this position. We're going to bank that money. Look, we got hit with a lot of stops during the last week when we were holding 55. They sent us lower. I got slapped around. Felt like I was getting slapped around with the old dead fish, to be honest. So, you know, that's going to pay for a lot of the stops and more, probably get me back on the handbag train. So we should be good there. And, you know, I don't want to give up those profits for the second time. Okay, let's look at our next one. So, you know, if we're trading render, what do we got? We're trading things like 𝗘𝗦 you're looking at. And then another one, I've got 𝗚𝗏𝗡𝗏. This is a little banger that we've spoken about also a number of times on the show. I know you guys love this 𝗚𝗏𝗡𝗏 token. I often see it in the chats from you guys and looking for it. So nice little play on AI. And again, 𝗚𝗏𝗡𝗏 is pushing into a trend. So if you are long 𝗚𝗏𝗡𝗏s, then you're cooking. Okay, so there's no issue right now. Is there an entry right now for 𝗚𝗏𝗡𝗏s? It's a little bit tricky on the 8-hour time frame because we've had a nice little move and we've got resistance just ahead. So if you're scalping, maybe there are little entries along the way if you're scalping, say, 15-minute candles and things like that. But if you're zooming out and you're looking at the bigger picture here, you need to understand what is in front of you and what can I see in front of us here for 𝗚𝗏𝗡𝗏s. I've got a massive trend from the highs. Okay, so this is the huge trend. I've got horizontals and I've got a 618 in the way. This tells me this is a TP zone. This is a potential reaction zone. Things need to be de-risked when you get to this area, or at least take profit or do something along those lines. What do we do when it blows this? Well, we've just seen this on another chart. I think it was exactly the same on render that we were looking at. If we blow this situation, what are we going to look for? We're going to look for this rejection of the 50-day MA. Okay, expect a reaction there, and then expect that type of pullback. Look at this horizontal trend 618. If we get that pullback there, and this market is even moderately bullish there, and I'm talking Bitcoin holding a nice little support on any pullbacks, then I think these altcoins are really going to start ripping off these levels. So let's break this trend first. First things first, break the trend. Let's see what happens at this 50-day MA. And Ray's got his tee out, bro. And I'm talking AI, and you don't have any goggles. This is shocking. This is absolutely shocking, Ray. Where are the goggles, bro?
They're here. It's Bitcoin Day. It's Bitcoin Day today. Bitcoin Day.
I see. Jane is asking for GRT. That's a nice little AI play. As well. And let's see, Jane, you missed DJ and Dave. He was in the chats yesterday, and we didn't see you there in the chats. DJ was there. He was there. Okay, here's Fetch, another AI play, and just want to cover the bases. You guys know I just like trading Fetch. I like trading Ocean, Render as well, obviously. And Fetch is sort of a go-to for me when AI starts pumping, just out of habit, really. And this was just a great setup. I showed you guys this area yesterday. I told you I was long Fetch in this region, and we were just holding onto that Fetch situation. So right now Fetch is looking good, and I mean it's uncanny how these things are all looking the same now, all these altcoins. Look at this. We got another trend in the way, and the same situation, but there might be a little bit of something here for Fetch. I'm actually going to dial in for you guys right now, but bigger picture, guys, this is what we're looking at. Look at this 50-day MA in the way again. Okay, we've got horizontal resistance in the way. This is a huge area. Let's not get euphoric. If Fetch starts pumping into this region, let's not get euphoric. Let's take profit together. Let's watch this resistance zone, 2.47. That's a massive area for us. And that would even be a little fake out potentially on that trend. So look out for that rejection there off that 50-day MA. Then let's see if we're going to fire up after that. But that is phase one. If things really start ripping, watch out for this region, 2.5. That's a big zone now that you want to pay attention to. 8-hour support, big area, 1.87. Let's just dial into Fetch quickly and see what type of trend break we've got here for you guys. Maybe there's something that we can play around with right now. We're just going to dial into the 1 hour. So I just want to get a little picture as to what's happening here. Maybe there's a little something special here for you guys. Let's see. Okay, so what have we got here on this the smaller time frame? We've got a nice little break of horizontal. Okay, so that's a good look for us so far. So Fetch traders, okay, this was a big area. Okay, remember we were stuck in this little range for quite a few days. Now what have we done? We've broken this nice range. So this was resistance for us. Now we've got clear support. Okay, so if things are going to stay bullish, what do we expect? This was support before. Now it's resistance, resistance, resistance. What happens when you retest? Often that's now going to get retested as support. So let's see if that's going to hold. That could be a nice little support level for you at 2.05. Watch 2.05. That's your support area. If the market's going to move, I would expect Fetch to hold this 2.05 on a pullback, and that might give you an opportunity then to start tackling some of these higher levels. Let's look. Number one, 2.19. Number two, oh, this is juicy. Look at this guy. Look at that. Bang. 2.19, 2.28. These are both areas of interest here for Fetch. You can see why, and my thinking behind this, you can see why I'd like to see this hold. This is a typical pop now of horizontal. If it holds, bang, that's perfect. If it doesn't hold, okay, where's my next zone? If this doesn't hold, for some reason, the market melts down, where does this thing hold? Where do I look? You're going to be looking somewhere on this trend for your next potential long in that region. So there's two opportunities, or there's two options here that are bullish now for Fetch. Number one, hold your support, your old resistance, which will turn into support, hopefully. Number two, grab your rising trend, your support buy on your rising trend. Both of these are potential bullish options. If we are bearish, they're both going to lose their levels, and then we're sending it lower. But if you are bullish and the market remains bullish, then these are great areas that you can be fiddling around at. I see Shannon says ABT is moving good. What else is going on? How's the people? How's my people? Grant Williams says, talk to me about my GPU node AI bags. The man knows his AI. Jane says, haha. Let's see what else we got. Osama's looking for Flux. And Patrico says FTM.
Ordi's looking good.
Ordi, the BTC play. Let's look. Okay, let me just cover this link. Okay, guys, if you're trading Link, Sheldon actually gave, I think he spoke about it on his show earlier today. He was speaking about Link, and Link's been interesting from the fact that it's actually front run some of these other altcoins. It's actually cracked a little trend here, and it's starting to move a little bit. So looking a little bit interesting. This is Link now on the 4 hour, and you can see how I like to play these things. It's very simple. The same way I'm looking at Fetch at the moment. Look what Link has now done. So today it was messing around. While we were waiting for non-farm payrolls, it was just ranging. And then the minute this news came out, this thing absolutely ripped. So if you like to trade levels and you're interested and you want a piece of Link, or what I can give you now is old major resistance is now support that you can play with, 13.7. So if you are bullish, any pullbacks onto this 13.6, 13.7 should unlock the next move for you on Link, and that is a move to 14.4. So watch out. 14.4 is where you want it to be. You can see why this is a big resistance area a little bit higher up, and you can see why this support makes sense to me. So if you are in Link, okay, and you're looking for where's my support, how do I exit Link if things start turning over? Well, number one, you need it to hold 13.6 to 13.7. If it doesn't hold that, then you're most likely coming down. You're most likely looking at 13.35. So what I would suggest here, Link traders, if you are in Link, you can lift your stops now to under this existing candle, and this was the pump candle. Okay, so if we're going to lose that candle, then it was a complete fake out, and they're sending it back down, and that is what it is. And watch 13.6. okay, so watch these candle lows. This is the 4 hour candle. If we lose this 4 hour candle, yes, things are definitely looking a little bit bearish. Right, what's happening there? What's happening?
Bitcoin rejection, red candle takeover.
What time frame are you looking at here?
The small time frame, but it rejected pretty ugly.
Bro, you can't watch 1 minute candles here, bro. It's not allowed. It's illegal. Okay, we're watching this BTC. If we start messing around in this area, I'm closing this position here. Let's keep watching this. Ray, keep us posted here. Okay, so Link traders, you are good. You've got a target and you've got a support. Okay, remember, if things are going to stay bullish, you need to hold nice key support levels. So watch these two regions on Link. Let's go with WIF. Okay, so WIF was another nice one, and a little bit of resistance here. So yesterday you saw I was sitting in a WIF trade speculating that we were going to get some kind of move, and finally we did get a little pop. So WIF was actually well behaved. It really held these supports quite nicely. But what do I like about WIF right now? Well, I like the fact that it's blown through this trend. Okay, so we got a nice little downtrend in play here for WIF. So things are looking decent, and well, simple game plan. You've seen the 50-day MA, and like I've just shown you on Render and a lot of these other tokens, you can see this is a rejection zone. The 50-day moving average is a big player with these altcoins. Watch it here, and you can see right now WIF is getting rejected. If it does get rejected, what do I want to see? Where do I close my WIF trade? I close my WIF trade if I start losing 2.68, 2.7, that sort of region. I want to see this level hold for me. If I start losing that area, then I'm jumping out of WIF, and then we can reassess it. So that is how I'm playing that WIF trade at the moment. But support to watch, 2.67. Watch that area there. You can see once again it was support before, turned into resistance, and now we're looking for it to hold as support on any retest. And then we've also got the trade. Block 70. Any way we can talk Casper? If we got a minute, I can do it. Okay, Rune showing super strength. Now, Rune was another one that we spoke about yesterday. I gave you this Rune setup that I was watching yesterday, and what was I saying? I was saying we need to see these horizontals hold. Okay, what did we want? We were sitting somewhere around here, and I was saying this level needs to hold. And what did they do? They round tripped us, sent us back down here, and fortunately, they've held an area. So now this is a great example for you on holding horizontals. You've broken trend, you've held your horizontals, and now you've turned super bullish. So nice little look here for Rune. And what do we do now? How do we play it now if you are in it? Well, if you are in Rune, the good news is you've blown through your first resistance point. Okay, so if you are trading Rune, the first thing I would have said to you was take profit somewhere in this region. But now we've popped we've popped through this area. So that's interesting at the very least. The problem here is we've got a massive candle now all the way down that can easily get cleaned out by these guys. So we just need to pay attention to the look of this candle, and the fact that it wasn't it was just such a quick move up, and sometimes they like to come and clean these things out again. Let's just look at some support regions here for you. Rune traders, pull a fib from the absolute low to the high. Okay, look for your supports. Okay, if you are long Rune, okay, I would still suggest great area to look for some kind of TP here, especially if we start losing this next support that I'm about to show you. Let's get our 236 out. Our most bullish fib is our 236 fib. Let's bang that one out there. Okay, there's our 236, and look at that tie-in. Okay, very nice here. Look at this. Great tie-in here with some horizontals as well. Okay, so these are key levels you want to watch now for Rune. If you are in this long trade and we start losing this support, okay, which is now old resistance, we're looking for this to hold as support. If we start losing 5.27, okay, there's a very good chance they're going to want to just send you down and come and grab these levels down here at 5.15. So that's quite a big it's quite a big move down, and don't give up. Don't give up all your profits, especially if you are in leverage. Okay, it's about a 3% move down from there, and then it's about a 5% to the next level at 5. Okay, so don't give up all your profits. There's your resistance, your rejection candle right now, and pay attention. If we don't hold 5.27, if we don't hold 5.27, you're potentially looking 5.14. Do you want to give up your profits? You decide how you want to play that. But there's been a massive Rune pump here, and if you caught this thing, you're about 10% up in a couple of hours. And if you're sitting on leverage, well, I mean, you're absolutely cooking, and you know you're killing it. So be disciplined, take your profits. And Schemo says Rune for your life. What else? Koti, 𝗘𝗘𝗙𝗢, guys, there's lots of questions about 𝗘𝗘𝗙. Yes, 𝗘𝗘𝗙 printed an all-time high today. Okay, so 𝗘𝗘𝗙 is now officially the 100 million market cap club, and I brought this to you guys at $3 or $4 million market cap. So nice to see this thing just continuously doing X's and X's and more X's. And now what do we do? How do we play this thing? Again, expect some kind of pullback when these things pump. They do get pullbacks in the areas. The business model behind this thing makes sense to me. The idea, the concept, what they're doing here is they're getting advertising revenue. What are they doing with the revenue? Well, they're not spending it. They're using the revenue to buy the tokens. Then they're going to burn the tokens. What does that mean? That means it's inflationary, okay? And the more token holders and whatever that watches 𝗘𝗘𝗙 means the more sponsorship that you can get to watch 𝗘𝗘𝗙, because you got more eyes on 𝗘𝗘𝗙. And the more people that watch, the more sponsorship happens, and the more tokens get bought, and the more tokens get burned. So, it's just a crazy system that's happening here. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And could it work? It could potentially be an epic project. Let's see. Let's see how it plays out. But right now, for me, if you're looking for 𝗘𝗘𝗙, you're looking at buys 0.09. Look out down there, 0.09. Nice little area there, 𝗘𝗘𝗙 players. Okay, there, 0.09. It's a nice horizontal retest. See if that one can play out for you. That could be a nice little area. I see Ferdy says 𝗘𝗘𝗙 is ripping. And yeah, look, guys, we got 𝗘𝗘𝗙 yesterday as well. That thing was flying. It was cracking. And look, we can't cover all of them. Let's go. Our next one, 𝗟𝗡𝗡. Okay, so 𝗟𝗡𝗡, just another one. This has shown so much strength, and I've been jumping into a lot of these tokens that show strength, and on these pullbacks, and 𝗟𝗡𝗡 is one of them. So keep watching 𝗟𝗡𝗡 until it becomes an absolute shitcoin and nobody's interested anymore. But what has 𝗟𝗡𝗡 done? It's pumped into a resistance area 37. How does this work out to good news for us? Well, if you are looking for an 𝗟𝗡𝗡 position, you've got a couple of options now. And, it's looking quite bullish. So things are looking pretty interesting. Okay. Number one, support. Any pullbacks for me on 𝗟𝗡𝗡 down to 33.5. Okay. This is now your new support. Okay, so 𝗟𝗡𝗡 33.5. What do you have here? You've got horizontals and you've got the 50-day MA in play here. Any pullbacks to that region, we should be okay. We should be good. If we start losing the 50-day moving average, things are turning bearish again, and we're eyeing out 30. Now, 30 was an absolute dark place not too long ago. I don't particularly want to go there anytime soon, but it is a reality. So if we lose 33.4, This is our 50-day moving average. Then expect another visit lower down. And we actually can't be too fussy about that, because that would, in effect, just be a little range play for our weave. And that's also perfectly acceptable here in a potentially sideways market. So yeah, just watch these areas, watch these resistance zones. And if we do blow higher, it's a simple equation, the same way I explained to you on Link as well. If we do pop higher, what do you want? You want to just blow these horizontals, okay? And then this is going to become your new support marker that you can now use as your support base. So if we pop higher now this weekend, all you need to do is make sure 36 to 37 is holding a support. If 36 to 37 holds a support, then your next target is going to be this 44 region. So quite a simple little play here on Arweave. Okay, absolute last one before I do raise Ondo. Here's Ton. So this has been an absolute banger as well. It's recovered from the dead. I mean, these were levels that we've been marking in Sniper Club for the last while, and it really just look how perfect this has come and tested this previous high. It's ridiculous how TA can work sometimes, and it can really work in your favor if you pay attention to what is going on and all these types of levels. I mean, this is absolute perfection. It came here and it just touched it bing, perfectly like this on that level. And I mean, look at this reaction. So if you're trading Ton, what are you doing now? Well, now you are moving into bear country. Now you are moving into your resistance zone. Now you are moving into areas where you need to say, okay, I've had a nice little run here. Maybe it's time to take some profits. Maybe it's time to raise my stop a little bit. And you can reassess once this thing starts breaking trend, once it starts breaking resistance. So the minute we get a little pop higher here, then we are on. Then the next move is in play, and things can get super exciting again and super bullish again. But right now we are at resistance, so just exercise caution. Understand what you're looking at. Understand it rejected here last time. It's rejected here a few times before that as well. You can see all these rejection areas, and that is, what is this? Retirement funds will soon enter. What? And James says Ton owes him money. And guys, don't forget the big play. When Ton turns bullish, go for resistance dog, REDO, Red O dog. It's the first dog on the Ton network, and it makes sense. Bullish Ton, bullish resistance dog. That is where some of the action is going to be. Ray, let's go Ondo. You did say Ondo or Ordies?
Ordi and Ondo, both.
Right, Ordi first. Ondo, Ordies. Okay. Apologies. Okay, anyway, Ondo is here. It's sitting in range high. Let's just see where we are. Okay, so same story. Ondo traders, no changes. Range high, just like you've seen now on Arweave and things like that. Resistance area. Okay, so watch your resistance zones. This is a reaction zone. If you've ridden this trade up for the last couple of days, remember, I gave it to you guys here on my show earlier this week. We were looking at it in this region. Look at resistance now, 0.85. Watch that area. Watch for a rejection there. You can get sent back to where you started. You get sent back to where you came for. Shashi, why do you always say nice, beautiful? Shashi writes nice, beautiful on every show, on every comment after the show. I appreciate that, but he's always in banter comments saying nice, beautiful. And thanks, Shashi. That's great, bro. Let us know. Let us know why it's so beautiful, but thank you. Hussein, thanks, bro. Appreciate that. Okay, so Ordies, Ray, this is interesting, bro. Look at this recovery. And you can see this went well. This bounce went incredibly well. Look at that. Yes, that probably got hammered, eh? Okay, so Ordies, this is interesting. So Ordies, remember, Ordies is a token that runs it runs with Bitcoin. I think it's a meme token or something along those lines, Ray, if I'm not mistaken. But Ordies runs with BTC. So what we've seen is a lot of altcoins printing new highs. Higher lows. They printed higher lows for themselves, but Bitcoin started printing lower lows in the last couple of days. And it's very notable here with Ordies that Ordi has printed lower lows as well. And it's really just running with BTC and playing the BTC game. But look at this big picture here with Ordies. Wow, this thing got absolutely smashed. Okay, let's see. Jeez, this is incredible. Okay, so what are we looking at right now? Ordies is pushing into a resistance band. Let's just clean this up for you guys quickly. Okay, but remember, with Bitcoin strength now, Ordies and things should start picking up. Your BRC20s, you're looking at stacks, you're looking at those type of things as well. You want to pay attention to. And Ordies right now moving into a resistance band. So let's see what happens here. This is a big area. If we reclaim that, we can definitely put a stake in the ground here and say, okay, if we're bullish, we're going to have a go at this thing on support here, 42.2. So you really want to see 42.2, 42. Once that is your support, then things could look a little bit spicy here for ordies. Right now, if you're trying to jump into ordies, you are jumping into it at resistance. Okay, so understand what you are doing, understand what you are buying. It's a resistance area, and that might not be that healthy for you, you know, if there is a rejection. So just look out for something like this, and it's a typical little trend break that we are seeing right now. And the same way I explained render to you and some of those others, when you break the trend, you always look for that rejection of your next horizontal. So let's see what happens. Let's see how this plays out. You could see a situation like that, okay, before it pushes higher. Just look out. Okay, you can see this is a big resistance area for you guys. Once you've got 42, once you've got 42 as your support, you could probably start nibbling around there and playing in that zone. Amaris says 62K. Let's get past 63. Let's see. Are we going to live to see another day here, Ray? Okay, we're still firing. Okay, guys, so I'm going to stay in this position for now. If we get a rejection below that candle low, I'm jumping. Okay, we've earned that move. We earned that right to jump out there if we get a rejection. So just make sure, guys, please promise me, take profits, risk management, stop losses, all these things. You know, in these current conditions, things can turn south very quickly. You don't want to get hurt for no reason. Okay, so don't FOMO. Watch your big levels. You've got good support zones to play around with, and just watch your position sizes. Don't be crazy this weekend. If the market's going to stay bullish, we're going to see, number one, loads of trend breaks on these altcoins. There's going to be time. We're going to break these major trends. We're going to get retraces. We're going to get pullbacks. We're going to get flags. There's going to be so much that we can do. So don't panic. You know, watch your big supports and play it safe out there, guys. See you on Sunday night, main channel. Catch you then.